Hey folks, my name is Jessica Mashkovich, and this is One Take with Jess. I am your host, and today I have the honor of having one of my dearest friends on as a guest. Her name is Laura Garratt, and she has played multiple roles in the beauty industry, including executive director of global product innovation for L'Oreal, Revlon, bareMinerals, Monat, and now you are your own company where you are consulting using your vast knowledge that you've gained over the years. So welcome to the podcast. I look forward to all the conversation that we're going to have.
I am so honored to be here. Jess, like I said, I'd do anything for you, but this is exciting to be here and to talk about all things beauty. It's something I live for, so this will be fun, for sure.
So you and I were talking about some interesting things related to the beauty industry. You know, people think, oh, it's makeup, it's eyeshadow, lipstick, all that stuff, and skincare. But the industry has grown and changed and gotten more complex, more customized to each person's face and needs. And especially now that technology has come deeper into the picture. Talk to me a little bit about how AI has been in the beauty industry.
Absolutely. So, AI really took its place in the industry, I would say 5 to 7 years ago. And it was really meant to come in and help people try their products on or try makeup on or without actually being in store. So really what AI has done is it's helped people really interact with products without having to actually be at a Sephora or an Ulta or
So I can go to a website and I can actually look at my phone and see what through virtual reality, not virtual reality, augmented reality, I can have my face in there and I can pick a shade of lipstick and it will show on my lips, kind of like a Snapchat filter or any of those other types of technology.
Absolutely. And that actually, in one of my prior roles, I was telling you earlier, I was working on all of that in order to in order to get all the shades and to get all of the actual products up on the platform. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes, but if you think about it, when I think about it, we're actually doing it before even Snapchat became, all the filters became, super popular.
Augmented reality totally revolutionized the way that we do shop for home goods and for your face and seeing what colors match. And it's interesting because then you have to kind of diversify the talent pool internally for user experience. And we want to make sure it's a whole different way of buying cosmetics. You're not going into a drugstore and picking off the shelf. You're not at a department store where someone is trying to put some blush on you as you're walking past to get to the pocketbooks or something.
Right.
It's a very different experience that a lot of people in the industry were not familiar with. So you have to bring people on board that have, user experience, design implementation so that it's kind of seamless across all channels.
For sure. And it's actually, so to your point, it's actually opened up the jobs that are needed to create this end of it. But I'll tell you, only because I know, prior to even bringing on the right talent, you had a lot of the big firms that are out there that were actually bringing AI to beauty. And it wasn't necessarily it was something that everyone was aware of, but it's vision, right? So it's actually knowing that something's going to be as big as it will be prior to even anybody, buying into it. So I will say, I give it to the big beauty brands, the big beauty corporations out there for seeing that even from a demographic standpoint, each demographic interacts differently. So, you get to your Gen Zers, even your millennials and your Gen Zers they live on their phone, they live on their filters, they live on their channels. So why not, do all their e-com shopping and everything. So I just love the way that it's all kind of come together over the past,
Right.
even 10 years, 5, 10 years. It's different.
Being different and shopping on your phone, the influencer population and the makeup demo, you may follow an influencer that's doing a smoky eye, or if that's still in style, or, so, I don't know. I brought my cosmetics that I use on a daily basis, and
Oh, good.
it's 3 items. I have a L'Oreal mascara, I
Okay.
have a Maybelline cover-up thing under my eyes, and I have
concealer. Yeah.
and an Essence eyeliner. I'm pretty brand focused when it comes to the mascara, just because it's right near my eyes and I like how it lays on. I don't have much brand loyalty when it comes to an eyeliner and a cover-up concealer. But I can imagine people being very influenced by either a particular influencer and wanting to use what they use, how they use it. So how much has the influencer population penetrated these markets and really kind of done the marketing for you?
Changed the game. It really changed the game. And that's partly because, and this is not just in the last 10 years, this is kind of people don't know what they don't know. And for some reason, makeup has scared off a lot of people. For some reason, I don't know how to wear that. I don't know what shade to put on. I have no idea. But basically, that's really what they're saying. And I've heard this for so many years. I mean, honestly. So
Yeah.
But
some people do not know how to apply. You've seen people in the street and wanted to be like, come here, honey. Come here.
You just got to fix a little bit right here.
Yeah.
Come here. I'll take care of you. It's the truth. So really what the influencer game has done is, and it's actually given the confidence to people to be like, oh, all right. See, the thing with an influencer is that, and they're micro influencers. So it's not necessarily, they're not necessarily celebrities, right? They're not in the Hollywood sense, right? But what they've done is they've become vulnerable. They've gotten themselves on camera and they're saying, hey, I didn't know what I was doing either, but look, I've been practicing and now let me show you what I'm doing. I'm seeing a lot of that. I've seen it, and now what I'm seeing now is a lot of like, get ready with me. So when people are just kind of sitting in their their bathroom or in their house, and they can turn on a major influencer. I'll tell you, there's one, Alex Earl. She's got about 5 million followers, and she's down in Miami. She just graduated college, and she does this get ready with me all the time. So much so that she's got and she uses all of her products. She documents what she's using. And I just saw that Tarte Cosmetics signed her on as one of their influencers, because she's got all those eyeballs and all those consumers that are just kind of like, oh my gosh, I either want to look like her, I want to look like her, or I want to be like her.
Do you think that loses her genuinity? Is that a word? Her authenticness.
Authenticity?
Yeah. Someone signs her on, or you start getting a paid gig and you're like, I only use whatever.
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting? It depends. So if you had followed her throughout her, the reason why she became the influencer that she now is she had an acne problem. She had a problem with her skin. So she would come on and talk about it. And that's really what there's so many issues out there, but there's a lot of people that are suffering, like even with a bad skin condition or an acne. So, she was authentic in the sense that she got on camera and, showed the products that she that she not worked on, that she used. When she went to the derm, what medications they put her on, like things like that. So I think she built the authenticity with the population by just kind of getting on camera and saying, hey, this is my life. This is what's happening. Yeah. And that really was what catapulted her. Now that, let's say, a Tarte Cosmetics signed her on, it's a different game. But I think for her to get there was it was authentic.
Yeah, it was an authentic journey. So
to
the
get to,
people,
right.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
got it. And probably people trust her to go with a trusted brand, again, like that whole sense of feeling like you are, trusting your influencer, whoever it is you're following, to make a right decision. So if she went with Tarte Cosmetics, maybe Tarte Cosmetics is the right choice for other people
Well, she
too.
loves I'll use your word. She loves the cover up. She loves the concealer. So like that's what they're, that's smart on the brand side. That's what they're saying, okay,
Yeah.
we can definitely get this, this demographic, and we can kind of play along to that in an authentic influencer type of way.
How hard did the pandemic hit the cosmetic market? When in those 2 years, 3 years, have we recovered? Are we beautiful again?
Okay, so COVID actually did wonders for the beauty industry, and partly because people were, in their homes. So they had time for rituals, things that people didn't maybe make time for before. So you actually saw a lot of personal care skyrocket. So skincare and hair care, actually body care, all of that actually did extremely well in the pandemic because people had time. What took a dip for a while with color cosmetics because of mask wearing. So, lipsticks not doing, didn't do so hot. Even, so lipsticks. The other thing though that came out of that from a makeup standpoint is anything long wearing. So long wearing products did extremely well because when you wore a mask, your lipstick would either, it was hot. Come on, we all went through it. It was hot under there. So, your lipstick would transfer or your makeup would start to transfer because people are on camera. So there were ways, like, so long wearing actually took, and it actually started doing better because it wasn't transferring. So longer wear makeup did well.
I would think that eyewear would have been not eyewear, but like all of this, because you want to make
right. So eyeshadows and eye makeup, eyeliners, that did well.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that when you look at the trends coming out of COVID, and all of this screen, between Zooming or Teams or whatever, Google Hangouts, what happened is that people started to wear less. So partly what happened is that, people were more vulnerable getting on camera and they're like, oh, let me just roll up, and see
Right.
let me look the part, but not necessarily having to have a full face of makeup. So what you're seeing from a color cosmetic standpoint is that, the return or resurgence of, no makeup, a natural looking face, a little bit of gloss. So in the beauty terms, it's called like hybrids. A lot of hybrids came out. So what is a hybrid? A hybrid is like skincare infused beauty products. So anything that could, so you've got your skincare, you've got like glow products, things that you can gloss up a little bit, but not necessarily having to add, have like, a full face. Now, does that mean that people didn't do it? No, they did. I mean, I'll tell you what did really well are falsies. So false lashes, whew,
Yes.
through the roof. So everyone's lashes, and it's still doing pretty well.
Which I'm sure, like when one thing hits, another thing takes a hit. So you
That's
have the
right.
lashes that are doing great, but you have mascara that's just like,
Yeah.
out the door.
So exactly. So what brands had to do were claims. Like, think about what could they do to work on false lashes. So whether it's like a conditioning treatment or either doing something with their current brand, if they're falsely approved, I should say, or come out with something that could work with work with false lashes. But you're absolutely right. Absolutely
Yeah.
right. Kind of opened up it opened up so many more opportunities,
It did. So
Uh,
what? Sound like you
no,
had a
I was
thought.
going to say the other thing with people being home. I'm going to say it,
What?
but like, it's called V beauty. So like a lot of sexual beauty, actually, so all of your intimate parts,
Uh-huh.
that whole that whole category, for lack of a better, it just
I think you're going to have to elaborate on that because I might have missed that boat. V
no,
beauty.
it's still doing well. V beauty. So that's all of your it's like intimate care, so like washes. I'm not saying there's mascara or anything for down there, but what I'm saying is that, like you think of personal care and extending to actual parts. So
Uh-huh.
instead of using a body wash for your entire body, there's like specific, there's like masks, there's booty care, there's, V care. I'm just trying to keep it clean.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think you may need to send me a gift basket or something. Grab some of your
I will.
samples that are over there with your booty care.
Yeah, the booty care, cellulite thing, a smooth booty is a good booty. So
Oh, okay.
yes,
Totally a different category. I had no idea
totally
about,
different.
but I look forward to learning it. Now that people are on camera more often, you could roam around an office when you were back at work and, bump into like six people, same six
Right.
people you see every day. But now you're like on Zoom
Yes.
doing close-ups. Lighting
Yeah.
is good, lighting is poor. Everyone's got to be camera ready if their camera is on,
Yes.
ideally.
Yep.
How has that affected people in terms of trying to buy has that increased the anti-aging category in the sense that people are now staring at themselves so much more often than they were in the past
Yeah,
and
it's
being
kind of
self-critical?
absolutely. It's actually eked in. It's not really anti-aging. It's kind of all ages now. So, I was just always reading, right? And always, discussing what's happening from that platform. But it's actually pro-aging, and it's more about kind of
Is that the buzzword? It
that
changed
is
from
like
anti to pro?
preventative pro, because what's happening is that outside of beauty, because there again another category in beauty where those are the aesthetics, right? So what happens is that you can get super critical looking at yourself. And so what happens, right? What happens is that people are, exploring outside of beauty. They either they go to the needles or they go to derms and
So
want
like a little bit of Botox
a little
or,
Botox, a little filler, and things like that in order to kind of preserve their age. Or they're looking to products, and serums doing super well. They're looking to serums, products outside of like their skincare, to help boost their skincare to fill.
Mhm.
And there are a lot of brands out there that can do it. And it's really the add-ons to like your moisturizer,
Mhm.
so it's kind of like making sure that you've got you've got like a hyaluronic acid, or you've got a polyglutamic acid. What is that? These are all things that help to fill. Hyaluronic acid is 1,000 times a water weight, so it helps to keep your moisture in. It creates like a moisture barrier, and
Mhm.
that's what you want to use alongside your moisturizer. So it's not necessarily anti-aging, it's all ages. You're seeing as
Mhm.
young as your teens out there, teens 18, 16, 17, 18.
There's plumping and then there's sloughing. And you
Yeah,
want to remove the dead skin and you want to like encourage new skin to grow, new cells to have its place. And,
glycolic acid,
yes.
colic acid peels, even niacinamide is a very hot, buzzy ingredient. And what they do is that's exactly what it does. It's a gentle way of sloughing off the top layer so that your skin is like ready to receive. Ready
Yeah.
to receive. Yeah.
Salicylic acid, is that what
Sal
fights
acid is more to
bacteria?
dry. Yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of like dries if you've got like pimples or it's really there more so for like to help dry it out.
Yeah. I'm like mixing everything in here.
Yeah,
So we're
it's
fighting
okay.
pimples,
I'm
we're sloughing
following. I'm
skin,
going. You're sloughing. You're
we're plumping.
attacking. You're plumping. It's all good.
So back in my grandmother's day, you would like wash your face with Ivory soap,
Mm-hmm.
and then you would slop on Pond's cold cream
Right.
and call it a day. You have people that look absolutely beautiful, and that's kind of like what their regimen was. What you do in your early days, does it affect your older days, or what you do in your older days really is the day by day affecting
Okay.
moments?
So honestly, the younger you are in your habits, the better you are as you age. Honestly, I think first and foremost, we have to worry about the sun. And I think that I think sun care is important. So you think about, you just think about, putting on like a sunscreen before you go out. Your question is, how has things have changed dramatically. So like even my grandmother and Matt's grandmother, my husband, they would again wash their face with soap and put on like a layer of Vaseline. Why is that? Because it's occlusive. What does that mean? It just kind of locked everything in, and so that when you woke up in the morning, you had that glow. The challenge is that over the years, the beauty industry has grown, and instead of putting Vaseline on your face or petrolatum, or petroleum, you think of that and where it's coming from. There are other ways that you can do the same thing. It wasn't necessarily the best thing for skin, even though it was the simple thing for skin. But
Did it work? Did it work for that
well,
duration
you know what?
until
I
they
think
got
for that
better products?
generation, you can tell. I mean, you go back to your lineage, right? If I look at my grandmother and even Matt's grandmother or other grandparents, you could tell the people who took care of their skin and the people who didn't. I don't believe that it was as what's the word? It wasn't as accessible. That's it. I don't know if beauty was as accessible for that generation. You're talking about Depression era, boomers, actually the grandparents were more the Depression era. So they were kind of saving their money, unless you were from money, it was kind of like Ivory soap and Vaseline. It works,
Right.
But I think that as it's generational, people, women were working more, out and becoming more prevalent in the workplace.
Actually, that's very true. Yeah.
And that's really, if you look at the 70s, right? The 70s, the 80s, like that's when women were really taking ownership of their beauty and really getting out more, becoming more of like part of the workforce. And I think that's the change, so it was simple, and then it changed because of just need, and then habits. And then you've got big brands like Revlon was born. Well, Revlon was born early. Revlon was born in the late 30s. Estee Lauder, the brand born 1946 or 1945, 46. These brands started early. They started with like a lipstick, Revlon. It was cherries in the snow, lipstick and nail polish, right? So that's easy. What was Estee Lauder? It was, she was in her kitchen cooking, cooking her creams. But when you think back to what, she was doing, she had a whole family that were not a whole family, but she had some that were chemists. And she was kind of like, she comes from humble beginnings, and she wanted to kind of like change. She was a visionary, man, but like she wanted to kind of change the platform of beauty. So, she was cooking and doing cooking creams in her kitchen, and doing makeovers in her kitchen in the
Right.
40s and 50s, like
now was this
yeah.
Is beauty more about feeling good? You have beauty companies that are coming out to try and, I guess, combat. Dove is a big person, and they're not makeup per se, but they are, skincare and body. And you have companies that are coming out with body positive imagery and
Sure.
trying to make people not so self-conscious about themselves and loving their body. Do you think that, or have you seen large companies evolve in that direction where, you know, beauty, 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 yet vanity is right on the heels, and, you know, crippling body dysmorphia, and no matter how much makeup you put on, I'm ugly, I'm ugly, I'm ugly. Where
Right.
do you feel that, or have you seen in your experience that cosmetic companies or skincare companies like Dove are coming more forward, trying to express that you're beautiful?
Absolutely. So what's happening now, and it's across the beauty industry, where there was a lot of talk about retouching, like even 5 years ago, retouching and meaning seeing an image and not being attainable, right? So
Mhm.
what's happened, and, you know, we're in 2023 now, and there are rules in place, you know, for lack of just a better way of saying, but there are rules of engagement now where if you are retouching anything, you've got to say, you know, companies have to say unretouched, not, you know, whether it's unretouched, real person being, you know, a real model or a real person being used. There are, so from a rule standpoint, it's cracked down. You know, you cannot just go out there and you retouch
So this
models
is an effort to make it
in an
as
effort
people
to be
are
more
people. So
inclusive, right?
you're not going to
Because it was
enhance my cheekbones to a
yes,
point where I can't achieve this level of cheekbone by just, you
because
know,
you
putting
know,
something on.
you can't achieve that level of cheekbone because it's not in your genetics. You know,
Yeah.
your
Or it's
your
not a real
mom was that.
cheekbone.
Yeah, exactly. That's a
Nobody
real
can.
cheek. Exactly. But you're seeing that outside of beauty, honestly, in fashion as well. Look at Victoria's Secret. If you look at their models or just look at just the brands in beauty and in fashion, you're just seeing a lot more body positive images that are out there now. All bodies are beautiful. All
Mm-hmm.
skin types are beautiful. And no one is the same. And to say that you have to, you know, that is, I think that was more our generation, Jess, honestly, growing up. Um, it was harder, right? Because we had all these unattainable goals. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna be a size 00. I just am not. And I'm, you know, and or whatever that is. But over the years and generations, there's been a movement, a huge movement that has addressed it, and now I can confidently say in 2023 there are, like I said, rules of engagement, and you've got also social platforms that are out there, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
you've got people of all races, all skin types, all skin tones, you know, having fun with beauty, you know, doing before and afters. And it's definitely more of an inclusive game now. And it's not, you know, I don't think it's people are saying it's happened, and it's
Yeah.
happening, and it will continue, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
And we'll talk about inclusivity in 1 second, but I
yeah.
also fear that the 24/7 access to social media, and then the, you know, the people that are just have done their makeup fabulously, and then they wake up and they like turn on their social and they're like, I just woke up like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you didn't, you know,
Did
and
you? Yeah.
but then you have people watching this, you have young kids, you have a daughter, I have a daughter.
Yeah.
And part of being a mom, you know, like when your kid is growing up and they're like, I want to wear this, I want to do this. And you're like, you're beautiful. You're beautiful the way you are. We kind of tell them stuff, and then it's contrary to when they grow up. It's like, okay, well, yeah, you can put a little of this on or a little of that on. Hang on, I just messed my computer up for a second. Okay, I'm back.
You bet.
So, you know, the messages that we tell people when they're younger is you don't need that. You don't need that. You're beautiful the way you are. And then they're seeing all these other people around them that are just completely decked out. But you know what? That's just all social media. That's more of a social media problem
I
as
think
opposed
so.
to a vanity or a makeup problem, because on the other side of it, like you just said, people are being extremely authentic and vulnerable, and they're showing the here's me with nothing.
Nothing.
And then
Exactly.
here's how I put this on with my jumbo crayons and do all that.
Exactly.
And
My
like,
jumbo
ta-da.
crayons, my sponges, my fingertips. It's a look, if you look at it, it's a form of expression. It's an art. It's creativity. So, yes, I mean, I'm definitely of the camp of we have to definitely teach the next generation, teach our children that this is not there to change your face. It's not there to change who you are. It's there to have fun, to enhance. Um, if
I
you
love
want,
that.
it's not a must. It's really, think about it. In beauty, you've got makeup, got nail polish. What are these? These are all rituals. Fragrance is a ritual. Taking a bath is a ritual. These are, you're dating back. Here I go. You're dating back to like Cleopatra days. You're going 5,000 BC. You're going, these are rituals that have happened. And it's just a question of how do you want to express yourself? So do you need it? You don't need anything, honestly. You don't need anything, but do you want to play? You play with art, right? You have
Mhm.
crayons, you've got paints, and you create on a beautiful canvas. You create a piece of something that is expressive of you. And you can think of that with makeup and, with makeup as well as even with skin care, hair care. I mean, those are more personal care, but with makeup in general, it's really there to be more form of self-expression.
Yeah.
And
I know Alicia Keys never wore
oh,
makeup. She
right.
was always very big. I don't know what the reasoning was behind it, but whenever we would see her performing, I'd always actually like point to her on the thing. I'm like, she never wears makeup.
Mhm.
She's beautiful. She's natural. Like it's not a requirement. Everyone thinks that you have to get all decked out. But here you have just someone raw talent, amazing person in front of like millions of people. No makeup. It's all good.
Well,
It works.
yeah, it works. That's the whole no makeup trend,
Hmm.
if you will. I don't think that's really going anywhere, honestly. And you can thank COVID for that. Really, in a positive way, because it was more uh because people were at home. It's like, wow, well, what do I need to put all of this makeup on for? But
Hmm.
I can actually have time to take care of myself, take care of my skin, and um that's one angle of it. And then there were others that were like, I actually have time to actually create. Maybe there's something I can create out of this. And so there's different facets to
Yeah.
to just to wearing makeup, whether it's Alicia or you look at, I mean, even, if you want to start talking about different celebrities, look at like rare beauty. So like Selena Gomez, she's out there with her, she's doing phenomenal, by the way, phenomenal with her brand. She's got different types of all types of color cosmetics, tinted moisturizers,
What was
lipstick.
her secret? Because she had the crowd already, she had the Disney crowd, and they're growing older, and she just kind of grew older with them.
That's the thing. I mean, I think with beauty in general, celebrities that kind of branch themselves into the beauty industry, Rihanna, look at Fenty. I mean, they already have a following.
Hmm.
And they have their identity, what they perform in, what they look like, all of that. J Lo glow. Like, you just think about what has brought, you know,
Yeah, I
um,
think about that stuff with like just a little bit of skepticism in the
okay.
sense because I also have a consumer, the Throby, the wearable
Yes.
blanket, and you're competing against Ellen DeGeneres, and that I can name a few other celebrities, but I just don't want to because I've probably been on QVC with them and in the green
Oh
room, so I
yeah.
don't want to throw them under the bus. Um,
No, no, I don't
but you
think
have
it's
You have celebrities that go ahead and create a home line, home furnishings line, or you have celebrities that create a perfume line or a cosmetics line. And you don't know if it's just like a licensing deal. They're just kind of putting their name on it and promoting it
Some are.
that they're following, or they're really taking time and trying to source the highest quality ingredients that are going to do what they say it's going to do. But, then again, what gives them the credentials to do that? Like I'd feel you are more capable of doing that because you've sourced high quality ingredients for your whole working 2 decades, 3 decades. So what, how is JLo going to pick the proper, chemist makeup?
She'll get the right team. And then that's really, it takes a village, Jess. Excuse me. It takes a village to really bring something to market. I mean, as you know, you've got your Trophy, and I mean, that's your baby. And then when you think about celebrities and what they're bringing to the table, they're able to bring their name, their branding. I just having coffee fit.
Hairball.
Yeah, my goodness. But then they get the right teams. And that's what the industry, you can get the right, that's part of all the behind the scenes, the development pieces of all these brands. They're not necessarily, they may have some creative rights. They want to try things. I mean, they're the face, but you need a team behind them. They need a team, just like they need a team when they're on, they're touring or when they're, I would imagine they're all of their celebrity, music or acting. It's the same thing in beauty. They have their teams.
True. And they do hit the ground running when it comes to this stuff because they are putting it out there. They already have a marketing machine behind them from their day job, I should say. And they already have a following from their day job. And they're just, I feel like the execution side, you and I spoke about this before we came on. It's I wouldn't say easy, but easier to create a product and manufacture it and get it to that point. But where it really becomes super complex and much harder barriers of entry and obstacles is executing on the marketing side of things, getting people to see it, try it, adopt it, use it again, not just a one-time
repeat purchase thing. That's the thing. Exactly. So it's creating the community. They have community. And so it's harder for someone who doesn't have their celebrity status behind them to get out there. It doesn't mean it can't get done. And I told you that I believe that there's something for everyone out there. There's how many people on the planet? We're upwards of almost 8 billion. We're at 7.5 or something billion people. So I always say that I'm like, there's enough, to go around. But it's just,
plus the market's expanded with not only cosmetics for women, but cosmetics for men. And now there'll be more people to sell to. The target audience just got a little bit broader. But you're right. It's not that you can't do it. You can't penetrate the markets. It is a little harder when people already come with their own following and they already have a marketing machine in place. But yes, you can create opportunities for yourselves. And you mentioned about differentiating the product to the level that the big brands aren't doing that. So like, where are the little inroads?
So you've got to make sure that you've got a unique selling proposition, your USP. What is going to make your product and brand, what will be the pull for someone to come and try it? So it's the product, it's the branding, it's the ethos of the brand, and then it's the connection. What problem are you solving that this person can't get it from somewhere else? That's really what it is. Like, it's really it's a problem solving. That's like the trick. I guess that's the inner workings of coming out with a brand. What problem are you solving?
Yeah.
And what are you doing that's different? What are your claims? What ingredients are you using? And what makes you unique to the other brands that are out there.
So niching into, let's say, an ingredient like argan oil. That was a big one for a while. And whoever was first to market to offer the argan oil things and the benefits, communicating the benefits, maybe the big brands weren't catching on as quickly because it's like turning a cruise ship sometimes with a larger brand. You want to be nimble, but you're not going to get there because you're still trying to turn right on the cruise ship. Eventually you'll get there when it goes through legal and compliance and all of that stuff. But the younger brands, the smaller brands are more nimble and are more able to get out there quicker. So yeah, niching in. You also mentioned something about another niche being clean products. What does that buzzword mean?
That buzzword. So that really was put on the map back in 2018 with Sephora coming out with their stamp, their green stamp of approval of being clean. What that means is that there are a certain amount of like blacklisted products that brands use to create. You know, there's a, I mean, it's a little bit of a touchy subject, especially in the United States. And that's partly because, you know, there's a big conversations around ingredients and you know, ingredients that are not natural or
like
naturally
lead
derived. Like what did you say?
like lead?
Lead? Oh my God. God forbid. Oh
I know, but there's some of those knockoffs that are coming from, you know, outside the United States that contain lead, like in their makeup.
There's something with lead. No, those are not clean products though, right? That's not clean.
Danger.
So you
run.
That's dangerous. Exactly. But the bottom line is that
but what are some, you were going to say like one thing that was controversial or whatever, what ingredient were you thinking of?
So like
cancer causing type agents.
And that's the thing, it's so crazy because it's like, you know, there are studies that are out there. Where are they coming from? So for example, I'll just say not cancer causing or anything, but silicones, right? So silicone, they're used, all different types of silicones are used in products to create a little bit of that slip. So like in foundations or tinted moisturizers, even in some moisturizers, body care, things like that, where you'll add a type of silicone that will give you that slip, blendability on skin, able to penetrate, and you look great. And some of the hype for the past, I would say really big for the past since 2018. So however many years, like 5-7 years, has been that it's not natural and that it could because it's not naturally derived, it could cause reactions on skin and other things that can happen. And, when you talk to the raw material vendors, they're like, well, but silicones are or could be made of sand, and sand is natural, so it's a really tricky, like a tricky conversation, because I think in general, what the bigger trend or conversation that's happening around clean is that people are reading and they're looking at their ingredients and they're like, what's that? What does that come from? How does that used? And then they'll do their own little Google search and find all the bad things or all the good things. And it's become a little bit like the wild, wild west. But from a beauty industry standpoint, it's something that's not going away. So like clean beauty is not going away. So using and staying away from certain ingredients and staying within a confine of natural or naturally derived type of ingredients is where a lot of brands are going. Another big trend that's happening is sustainability. So from an ingredient standpoint, like where is it being sourced? Is that company giving back, to that country that it's being sourced, or that, that dependent if it's coming from, in the US or somewhere in the world, that's ingredients, and then even packaging, for God's sake, like sustainability in packaging, not just in beauty, but we're talking beauty.
Mhm.
You think about plastics that are used, and what are we doing? We've stripped a lot of the earth's natural resources in order to make a lot of these packages, if you will. And now it's definitely it's a big trending conversation that will not go, it's not going away. We're only going to be that much more involved and bigger than beauty. It's really in all industries. It's like, how do we preserve what we've got on the earth? How do we give back to
Right.
what we,
Yeah. So that's
you've got, like,
ESG, and that's
yes,
part of the
all
conversation with a lot of people, whether it comes to wherever they're buying their groceries or their financial institutions, who they're working with. ESG does become part of the equation. Now you have to find out like which color best matches your face, what ingredients they're using in their skincare, in their eyeliner, in their whatever it is.
well,
And, are they behaving with their ESG? And then the aspect of diversity and inclusion, are they serving an entire population? Are they neglecting a certain population when it comes to their cosmetics? We talked about niches and everything before. You have cosmetics that were born out of a void. There was a certain group that was not being tended to because of whether it's, the color of their skin or the nationality or the skin is different. All skin is different. I remember when Band-Aids used to be just only beige
Oh,
Band-Aids,
sure. Yeah.
adhesive bandages. And the entire population does not only have beige skin, to match that. So, there are just regular consumer products that had pockets that were not being tended to of people. And entire cosmetic lines and companies also have been built from that. Has Sephora was Sephora like a little bit of a launching pad for younger, smaller brands, being that the store aggregates a whole bunch of brands?
Oh, absolutely. They're a platform, like an incubator, if you think about it, for indie brands. So it's a to get on the shelf of Sephora is a dream of many. And when you're in that store, it really is like a playground. Depending on what you're looking for. They've also, over the years too, and again, my past brands, they've also expanded. So to kind of jump on the point that you're saying before, you've got, dependent on foundations, you've got some brands that are out there with 60 shades. You've got brands that are out there that will customize. We're not just one skin tone fits all. It's not. There are some innovations out there that will work across all skin tones and types. It depends on what it is, as far as, like something that is light in coverage could sometimes span, more skin tones. But if you're looking for exact matches and things like that, you've got brands that are all over that. You've got brands that were working on 60 shades, working on who knows, even more down the line. So there is, to circle back to what you're saying, Sephora has been a big player as far as getting indie brands, off the ground. I would also say Ulta, another great outlet. Um, and then in the clean brands, there's Credo. I don't know if you've ever heard of Credo, but Credo is like the natural or clean like outlet for all things clean beauty. So like, for example, in Sephora or in Ulta, they have like, if something is under the clean beauty badge by a little like icon that they have on their package or even online or on their website. Or if you're in a brand, if you're in like a Credo type of retail set, everything has to be clean.
Hmm.
So you can't have like some of the more heritage brands that may not have gone down that route. Like there are different ways to play it.
Yeah.
But they won't be in like a Credo type of environment or detox market type of environment because of regulations.
So are these types of brands and this level of clean, are they, here's the skeptic, are they charging more for what they have? Because of course it's harder to, to come by clean ingredients, or maybe not. Maybe it's not harder to come by, but do they charge more like how shopping at Whole Foods versus shopping at Walmart, for your groceries? Whole Foods is going to charge more for what they have because of the whole organic sections and natural sections. Is that the same thing when it comes to clean cosmetics? Is this something that we really should be paying up for because we use it every day? It's absorbed into the skin. Like what are the benefits?
Sure. So I think it's a lot more mainstream now. And I think that you've got options out there that are either in the mass or, mass market environments, like, or the mass retailers. So think of like, your drugstore, or like, Walgreens, a CVS,
Mhm.
a Walmart, a Target. They have um brands that play within space, within the clean space. So I don't think if this was, let's go back in time. If this was like 10 years ago, or like even whatever, maybe they would definitely be charged. They would definitely be more expensive. But because this is more mainstream, you have more opportunities now. There's a big trend called dupe. So you could actually find, if there's something that is expensive, you can find the dupe. And this is like really big among younger generation, like Gen Zers, where, even younger than that, for God's sake, where they'll say, this is, making it up, this is, my Dior, this is a Dior product, and this is the dupe, and because what they're finding is that it's either working the same, or, it feels the same, it has like similar ingredients, and it's like a third of the price. So
Is that a website? Is it a
no, it's
particular
an
place, or
actual
you
trend.
just,
It's called dupe. Yeah.
it's an actual brand?
It's a trend. It's
Oh,
a
a
trend.
trend.
Go on any sort of, you go on the platforms, go on TikTok and look up dupe, and
Oh
you're
my
gonna
gosh.
see, yeah, yes,
Well, okay, so being
yes,
that, how do you not get some kind of knockoff that all of a sudden it like behaves like Dior, and
yeah.
now you're just like loaded with hives on your face because it
Oh
contains
gosh,
lead
no, oh
from
gosh.
China?
Well, listen, if
No,
it
but
contains,
that's like, no, it's
no,
unfortunately, if you look that up, it's crazy how certain things, it's very dangerous what they're putting out there in the form of like, this looks exactly like Dior, or this behaves like whatever.
what one needs to do, honestly, and that's part of what I was saying earlier, is that look at your ingredients, look them up. If there's something that is too good to be true, it probably is then.
Mhm.
Just, it's common sense,
Yeah. Or stick with the
beauty is,
trusted
yeah,
brands.
stick with a trusted brand if you have, any sort of skepticism, but do your homework. I think that's what really people are doing. They're just kind of like digging in, doing their homework, trying it out, following different brands or influencers or micro influencers. And there's so many ways to get information now, if it's something that you really want to learn more about, there's so many ways to do so,
Mhm.
at your fingertips, really.
So, a couple quick questions. Should you throw away your mascara after 3 months?
Yeah, I would say, dependent on how often you're using it, at the latest at 6 months, you should be throwing that away. So, and refreshing it. Your eyes, you think of like all the ports, you know, your people will, hold on to lipsticks for a long time, or their eyeshadow. It's like, gosh, but you're right by your mouth, or you're right by your eye. These are ways to get infection. You don't want to do that. So keep things fresh. Like you keep your food fresh. in your refrigerator, it's kind of like the same thing, treat your body and your makeup like you treat your food.
Hmm.
If something is, if you've got, milk that was supposed to be dumped, in March and it's June, you need new milk. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta change it up.
Yeah. Does bacteria flourish inside of this canister? Because you are like putting it on. So is that the
Yeah.
fear?
So there's one by the time, so before you open up your mascara or open up any of your products,
Hmm.
they're sealed. It's once you start to use them, there is a period of use before you should change it up.
Yeah.
With mascaras, with lipsticks, even blushes. Some things you could be like, oh gosh, I still have so much of it, but if it's been, a year, get rid of it. Get something fresh and new,
Oh,
because
wow.
it's just all things are tested. I will say, there's preservative systems. There are ingredients in place in order to keep your products the most efficacious. But after a certain time, you should be changing things
So
up.
even like shelf life of a um, blush or eyeshadow that's just kind of pressed in there, it's powder based, there's stuff holding it together. What is the shelf life of that? I mean, I know you said a year, but I can go back tens
Sometimes,
of years.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to go back tens of years, dump it. Even if it's new, just get
It's
rid
so
of it.
hard. Sometimes it's got the fancy name on it. And maybe I didn't
Take
buy it,
out
but
your
my
canvas.
mother-in-law did.
Yeah. Take out a piece of paper or go to the art store and use it and create something with it.
Oh my
Use
gosh.
it.
What
Yeah.
an amazing
Yeah.
idea. How to
Yes.
upcycle your old makeup. Take
Upcycle
out.
your exactly. Just start to create some art with it. Don't
That
put
is
it on your
awesome.
face. Use a piece of paper. Yeah.
Don't put it on your face. That's so
Don't
good.
put it on your face.
Okay. So how about using Vaseline
Okay.
to take off makeup? I know there's Abilene. There's a couple of like Vaseline type petroleum jelly products out there that are makeup removers.
Mm-hmm. Look, I think that it's a little heavy. You know what? I'm a big believer of the waters, like the micellar waters. They are very, very gentle. Again, if you're removing makeup or removing anything around your eyes, makeup, eh, your skin is the largest organ on your body, right? And you've got to take care of it. If you continue to use products that are maybe too occlusive, so they may clog pores, or I'm saying it may not be for all. But it's really important that you have and use something that works for your skin type. So, dependent if you're drier or oilier or, a little bit of both. Um, as you use things, you can also become, be aware. You might get a little bit of an irritation. Be aware of that. Don't use that. So I'm always in the camp of using things that are tested on sensitive skin, even if you're not sensitive, because it's the gentlest. So I'm of the camp of using things that are like a water that will help, like a
Mhm.
micellar water that'll be like a makeup remover, and really gentle for eyes. Very lightweight, doesn't clog your pores. Not that, it may not be all, but it really helps. And it's you can buy it at your
How
drug.
does it remove makeup? Like, how does it get at like waterproof mascara? Should people even
Yeah.
be using waterproof mascara?
If you want your lashes to look nice and you're going in the pool, or you're going into you're going scuba diving or snorkeling, and
I thought I just read recently that there was something about waterproof mascara that you really shouldn't be
use.
using it. Yeah, I'll send you the article if I come across
Okay.
it. But so the
Okay.
micellar water would
Yeah,
end
there are
up being
micelles that
able.
actually help to, they help to target and pull. So think of it like a little magnet. Like they kind of like pull the formula like
Mhm.
gently, not pull, but it's sort of like a magnet. So when you're putting it on your like cotton ball, I'm using my hands. When you're putting it on like a cotton ball or a cotton round, and you're gently taking it off, it's like gently pulls it with you,
Okay,
and
I'll try.
water, and it's lightweight,
I'll
and it
try it.
doesn't, it doesn't feel heavier or, clogging.
Yeah.
That's a suggestion,
So let's talk about our men.
Yes.
Let's talk about them doing proper, like washing your face,
Mm-hmm.
moisturizing your parts.
Yes.
What are we doing for men, and how come they've been so like neglected since
Oh my
decades
gosh,
prior?
you're absolutely right. What's interesting is that, again, speaking about generations, we've got children, and I've got older boys. What's funny is that they really want to know. They want to know what they need to do. I think in the past, men, I don't know, there's like a macho thing, it's kind of like, the scruffier I am, the more manly I am. I'm not saying that.
I like the leather look.
Yeah, leather is great. It's character, it builds character, but it doesn't really, right? They age just like we do, right? So, at least basic, they'll use soap. Soap works. Well, yeah, soap works, but it also dries you out, depending on where you're using it. Um, I was going to
Yeah.
say something, but I'll leave that somewhere else. So at any rate, it's really important that, and you're seeing it now with a lot of men's products starting to, again, being in 2023, you're seeing them out there because there's the influence of Korean skincare. You've got your boy bands that are out there that have definitely, raised the bar up for men type, men products. And, remember the term like metrosexual? Like
Yes.
that was like a big thing with men. But believe it or not, like there are not all, but there is like a demographic out there, and a segment of guys that are out there that really just want to learn. They want to like make sure their eyebrows look good, make sure they
Hmm.
don't have that unibrow, that they're not like patchy. If they have a beard, make sure their beard looks like luscious and not like flaky, because that's gross, right? So it's important. Or, they're tired, so they have like concealer. These are the types of like products that are out there that men have like that have been like marketed more toward them. Why? Because it's like easy. And it helps give them that lift too. Because honestly, again, I said it earlier, but your skin is the largest organ on your body, right? So you need to take care of it. And regardless, with men, their facial skin is a little bit tougher than women because they have the beard. So what they're up against as they get older is flakiness and dryness and like ingrown, like
Hmm.
ingrown. So it's important that they exfoliate, that they moisturize or put a little bit of an oil. Yeah.
Retinoids. That's the word that I was thinking
Oh,
of.
from before? Yeah.
Yes, for
Yes.
exfoliation, like the
Yes.
retinoids. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Got you. But we said like the glycolic acids, the niacinamides, the retinols, or the
Hmm.
natural retinols that are really big that are out there too. Um,
Right. So men are this
yes,
is appealing to a men's market
yes,
more
yes.
than ever. I
It's
think
really
that
more
the
like
children
grooming.
are also teaching the men too, because I don't know of one kid who hasn't been to a dermatologist.
Time.
So many people have acne. Seeing your son, come home from the dermatologist with like 3 different face washes and a regimen with a piece of paper that says you have to wash once in the evening, once in the morning, put this on, put that on, just to maintain, or treat a little bit, but to maintain proper hygiene for your skin. I think like dads and men, these kids are growing up to be men anyway, but I think that they're learning, from an earlier age, the proper skincare regimen, which is great.
They are. I mean, look, acne it's a beat down on your confidence, to see it's something that, we've talked about in my prior roles, with derms. It's just, it's your physical appearance. You don't know what to do. You don't necessarily want to cover it up. You have to treat it. So, and it doesn't discriminate. women, girls or boys. It happens
Right.
to everyone, right? So I think the key here is that boys are becoming more aware. You're just seeing it. They're becoming more aware of just hydration, making sure that they're cleaning their skin correctly. It's not necessarily as maybe complex, dependent on, you know, what who they are and what they're doing. If they want to explore, and they can do as much as they want, but for the simplification of it, it's really, you know, you're seeing cleansers for men because of the differences in their, you know, facial skin because of hair that grows there. You're seeing beard oils or beard serums, under eye concealers. You know, again, their skin is a little bit thicker than women. They need a slightly different formulation just to kind of like blend in so that it doesn't look like, you know, I don't know, two eggs, you know, walking two egg whites. I don't know why I'm saying that. But it's the first thing that came to my mind. You know, between that, moisturizer, um, grooming, making sure that they're, you know, they've got their habits in place, and everywhere else too. You're seeing, you know, soap has evolved. You know, you're seeing, you know, men's body care, body wash, even moisturizers. So, you know, it's
Yeah, and
an
scents are just
opportunity.
amazing. Like some of the scents of the men's body washes are just like so handsome. Like it's
Mhm.
just like, oh, you just put cologne on and you just came out of a shower. So it is very appealing, you know, for them and for, you know, for whoever's around because they've taken they've upped it from Ivory soap. They've upped it from the
They've
bar of
upped it
Dove.
big
You
time.
know, they even upped it from just the general body wash, which used to be florally in smell because it was more geared towards women. You know, now you
Mhm.
have these body washes that keep your body smelling yummy all day long. Yummy in a
Right.
man sense.
In a man sense, you know, I
In a
got
man
you.
sense.
Well, listen, you know, thank goodness for fragrances and the experimental phase of a fragrance. Like a fragrance can definitely bring you somewhere else. And so fragrance
Mhm.
has played such a big role in all of beauty.
So talk to me about how beauty has expanded and I'm just making this up, so I don't know, but we have large movements of LGBTQ plus populations of which all genders are make up this group. I won't name them all um, because I don't know them all, but I see that makeup itself, and I'm just going to keep using the word makeup because now I'm talking about the pigmentation side of things. It goes beyond women, more into men. You mentioned a little bit of the under eye concealer, you know, for men on a general basis. But now you have men that are wearing a variety of nail shades and a variety of makeup. At the Pride, we had a few Pride celebrations here in Greenville recently. There was the Pride Parade recently. I'm sure that if you go out and look, you'll see a lot more people wearing pigmentation on their eyes, on their nails, on their cheeks, on their lips. And it's become, like you said, an artistic expression. So I just wonder if they're using the same products that women use and just kind of multi-using it in their direction, in their own direction, or if there are cosmetic lines that are going to be coming out that are filling those gaps, you know, appealing more towards what maybe someone else is looking for in packaging or in texture or something.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of no, it's a great point. You've got brands that are out there that have always been supportive of the LGBTQ plus group. And then you've got makeup artists that are out there too, that have also come out with their lines. So really you think of like higher pigment loads to it again, it's expressive, Jess, right? So it depends on if someone wants to really, they can use, you know, an Urban Decay if they want to use an Urban Decay, or maybe they want to use a Jeffree Star. who is, who's maybe the palettes are a little bit more expressive, a little bit more pigmented. It really depends on the personal preference of what they're trying to create.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are brands that are out there already that are targeted, that have those type of, let's say, have that type of pigment loads so that they can have that much more fun. Or you can use, again, it's part of, we were talking about this before. It's more about the branding. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
honest. It's like the brand. Who are you identifying with? And is that giving you, are you attracted and attached to that ethos, so that when you're wearing it, this is who you are, because you're able to self-express with this brand because you identify with the brand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think it's more than just the formula. I think it's more about, you
The
can say that
community.
about pretty much anything, about, yeah, about the community. Who are you aligning yourself with?
Mm-hmm.
And is that something that, will help you self-express? If that doesn't mean anything to you, then you can use anyone. You
Mm-hmm.
can use any type of brand. And I would say there's a little bit of that for everyone. It really, there's, like we said, there's so many people on the planet, but there's something for everyone out there. And then some, to
Yeah.
really help them express themselves, if that's, where they want to go.
Yeah. I
If
just
that,
wondered, like, it totally makes sense. But now
yeah,
I'm thinking, I wonder if I go into the drugstore and I take a look at the packaging for my
yeah.
concealer and see if there's a different version of it for men, in a dark, like in a gray tube instead of a beige tube that just really talks to, like man concealer, or like, I feel like we're trailing behind in the marketing side of things, because then they're using like lady products, which just shouldn't
Yeah.
appeal in that sense, unless they're using Harry's, and Harry's has, the dark gray brand, and it's kind of like it's appealing more towards men. And maybe Harry's will have to come out with a concealer because they have the man market at this point, and you don't have to like go to the grocery checkout and be like, oh, are you buying this for your girlfriend or for your wife or for your mother or your sister? No, I'm buying it for myself. But it does, you need like the brands to
Yeah, like
step
a
forward.
cue. It's a branding cue for
Yeah.
to make it more
Yeah, same product, but just a little
yeah.
bit more.
Well, I'll tell you, there is, yeah, to that point, I think there's been opportunity for years for men. It's something where you're seeing more of it now, but there's still, the men's market will continue to grow because there's a lot more guys out there that are willing to explore. And whether it's taking care of themselves on that simple scale or wanting to express themselves other ways, it's there and it's happening. And you're seeing like I said before, you're seeing guys out there. It started with the boy bands. I'm sorry, like it's true. It's it all started with the Korean boy bands. They always look so good. And
Yeah.
so that was a really big trend. Their skin always looked great, and they, that is something that just be on the watch for. But I hear you from a Q perspective. There's
Yeah.
opportunity for sure. Yeah.
One more thing, and then we've been talking forever. I want to keep talking
Have
to you,
we?
so I'll just
Oh
have
my
to
gosh,
call
you're
you.
right.
No, I feel like we'll just carry this conversation afterwards later on, because I don't know if people are going to hang in there for chit chat for 2.5, 3 hours. But so more stuff, like just what was the other thing I just wanted to ask you? Oh, about food.
Okay.
Food that you eat inside
Yes.
of yourself,
Yes.
supplements, exercise, those outside things that affect your skin. We always talk about your metabolism, and being that skin is the largest organ of your body. And, we eat to make sure our liver's doing well, and we eat to make sure what should we be eating, doing,
Oh wow.
breathing?
Yeah.
Should we not be vaping? Should we not be smoking pot? What should we be doing to make our skin glow and
So
thrive?
honestly, You're talking about the wellness category, and I can't believe it's only coming up now. I wish we talked about this before, but the wellness category is exploding, and partly it's because people are seeing the inner and outer beauty connection. You know, what people should be eating is, you know, it's true. The darker, more colorful and darker the vegetables, you think about leafy greens, you know, you've got to look at your you know, the proteins that you're having, whether they're from you know, beans or, you know, plant-based, or if you're getting it elsewhere or other ways.
So we're
But
on the antioxidants, we're
yes,
on the vitamins and minerals. The
yes,
deeper, the greener, the better. The more
yes.
iron, the more this, the more
Red, iron, right? You think colorful, you know, think of like when you think of like a color wheel, you know, that's like your fruits and vegetables. That's your, you know, peppers, tomatoes. They come in all different colors and all
yeah.
different sizes. And
It's not
um,
flaming Cheetos because those are
no,
colorful, but
no,
it's
no,
not
no,
flaming. You
not
want,
flaming.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're probably back on the clean side of things. So skin likes
Yeah.
clean.
Skin, well, hey, listen. So, you know, your beauty starts from what? From within. It does. You know, you can take care of your skin from a topical standpoint for sure, but your diet will always play a role. And, you know, in the past couple of years, there's been you know, an uptick in wellness products. So, you know, vitamins, supplements. Um, the big thing coming out of COVID was making sure that everyone and every doctor was saying this, but you know, take your cocktail of zinc, vitamin D, and vitamin C, because that's really supposed to kind of like balance out the you know, the I was gonna say environment. It's escaping me right now, but like it's an
It's your,
like an antioxidant type of
yeah,
deal.
it's your immune
So
system, your flora and fauna, everything that's inside of your immune
that's right.
system.
But the thing with eating well and eating right, look, it's all about, again, I'm end of one, but just reading and developing products on the wellness side, because I've done that too. You know, you're really looking at products that will and ingredients that will um, work to either help you with digestion, that will, because digestion's a big thing. If you're going to eat something and you can't digest it properly, maybe that comes up as like a little rash, or comes out with like some you know, blotchiness, or you know, you, I don't know if enough people, well, I would maybe have said that a couple years ago, but I think now more and more people are putting that connection together, that like, okay, what I eat can definitely, um, it will definitely
It,
affect
yeah, it manifests
affect
into your skin,
into your
outside
skin.
into your,
So
your
you should, hey, drink. It goes back to like your basics. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. You know, you don't really have to load up if you don't want to, but what you should be doing is make sure you drink plenty of water. Make sure that your diet is balanced. And I think anything in moderation is okay. You know,
Mhm.
but that,
Alcohol, smoking and alcohol. How are they?
well, smoking, oh my goodness. Well, smoking is it's toxins, right? So what it's doing, it's like taking away, you know, it's that's major, Jess, that we're talking about that right now. I mean,
And
taking away
my
from your,
earbuds are dying. I still want to keep talking about this. And even so lines around your lips from
yeah, well,
smokers,
from
because
smokers.
you're constantly using those
You're
muscles to
pursing.
pucker. And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
smoking a pencil right now.
I see
But
that. I
yeah,
see that. It's a pretty pencil.
you're
But yeah,
constantly
so there are
doing that. So
creams
you
for
have,
that. You've got lip creams for that. You know, they've got specific ones to help with lines. But honestly, you know, smoking, alcohol, you know, it all depends on, I mean, smoking in general or vaping, those are things that if you've got concerns, obviously always speak to your doctor about it, obviously. But I mean, it's really, you think about what it's doing, it's drying you out. You know, if you just really want to, if you,
mhm.
smoking is kind of like it's burning your insides, and it can take away, make your skin look lackluster.
Yeah.
Um, you know, alcohol, excessive alcohol can make you, dehydrated, which will then your skin will look dry. So, I mean, not to simplify, but just trying to simplify, those are things that, um, you know,
Yeah.
if it's something that, someone is dealing with, talk to your doctor to see how you can, balance that out, or everything in moderation. I mean,
Right.
there's
Right. And smoking and drinking affects your circulatory system and the blood that's running through all of your veins and organs. And then being that we are like right underneath here is blood. We have all
yeah.
of the blood that's underneath here. So changes in that will show up on your skin too, or kind of like show through.
Oh, it will. It
Won't be
will. So
rosy cheeks.
yeah. Yeah.
Look a little
Rosy
dead.
cheeks, dry, dry and things like that. Um, hey, but on the flip, every day, right? You can, if someone's there, you have a chance every day to kind of course correct. That's really what you want to do. You can always, it's
Yeah.
honestly within yourself, to kind of like course correct and see what it is that you want to explore for yourself. And if it's better skin, then, take the journey on what would help with going for better skin. Less smoking, less drinking, more antioxidants, more leafy greens, and lots of water.
Right.
Get outside,
And
get some
this
vitamin D.
exactly. Listen to the soundtrack of Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
Do a little dancing. It's always worked for us, right?
I think so, for sure.
I think
Sure.
so. Well, okay, good. I'm gonna let you go because now my headphones have sufficiently died and I just want to keep talking for hours. So I'll probably call you back later and we'll get Matt on the phone too, and we'll just not on the podcast, we'll just continue catching up.
We'll just continue to catch up.
Yeah.
Love you, Jess.
Love you too.
All right.
All right.
Bye, sweetie.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Got it.